Pogi, our favourite Slovenian alien, conquers his 8th Grand Tour stage in 2024 with an absolute exhibition over the final 4 kilometres of Plateau de Beille. In doing so, he pulverised the record of the doped Lance Armstrong by almost 2 minutes, paying a complete tribute to the COVID sufferers in the whole history of the Saunier Duval team. This triumph today goes out to all of them. Our beloved Danish anchovy Jonas Vingegaard certainly suffered to arrive in 2nd position, losing more than 40 seconds to the yellow jersey, not helped by an irregular Rabobank team that certainly did not live up to expectations, and on such an important day for the general classification. Benny Hilly must be in the running for the most histrionic cyclist of the Tour de France 2024, and he came ever so close to winning his first stage in La Grand Boucle, on the same day that his former teammate, Tom Tiny Tim Pidcock, with whom he shares a representative and a somewhat murky past, suffered an abandonment, a sad abandonment, and all because of the evil COVID-19. This has been the Tourmalet stage of the Tour 2024. Subscribe to the channel for more cycling content, and now, without any further delay, let the show begin. We were finally arriving in the Pyrenees. The high mountains were here after 10 days had passed since crossing the Galibier. The menu of the day was mouth-watering, for we could look forward to the classic of classics, the Col du Tourmalet on the softer side, and there was the Urquette en Saison as a second course. Oh, and for dessert, the legendary ascent to the ski resort of Saint-Lary-Soulan, a historic climb where a mummy with a doped son and a grandson, with aggressive tendencies towards minors on occasion, broke the doped Eddy Merckx, thanks to the services of Dr. Sainz. That was in 1974. A mountain pass where the vomitous Polish tick Zenon Jaskula beat the doped Rominger, and our friend of the channel, Bjarne Riis. That was in 1993. The mountain where the doped low-cost Lance forever demolished the morale of the doped fatty Jan. And of course the mountain pass where the doped George Hincapie spent €50,000 out of his own pocket so that a Galician who had never seen so much money in his life could afford a statue made of recycled glass. It's a mountain of legend, a triumph of prestige, but it couldn't claim its first major victim of the day, Tom Tiny Tim Pidcock, the diminutive, sickly British multi-tool who 3 years ago suffered a strange broken collarbone in Andorra, and 3 weeks later won the gold medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, after passing through the paradise of world doping in Girona. Well, suddenly he suffered a rather timely COVID case, one which caused him to abandon, and stopped him from working for his frenemy Carlos Rodriguez, and at the same time allowed him to return to prepare for the Olympic Games with a yellow ribbon pinned to his jersey. Damn COVID. Damn COVID. It just doesn't stop claiming victims. Even his friend, the Welsh alcoholic, is suffering certain ailments that are making him consider retirement. Poor friends of Team Sky. Now, someone who had a really bad time was Omari Capio, the sprinter of the Breton team who left in tears just after leaving Pau, in pain from yesterday's fall with Van Gils. We wish him a speedy recovery. Remember, life is not over if you don't finish a Tour de France. You can always leave the chocolate behind, like Vauquelin, and transform yourself for a return to glory in the future. Now, precisely the winner in Bologna got into the breakaway of the day with his teammate, the son of Trampas, the grandson of that doped rider who won in 1974 at Plateau de Beille, and the comic duo formed by Kerry Lascano and Benny Hilly, making cheeky jokes about the soccer match between Spain and England. And remember, if you subscribe to our soccer channel, Failed Sharks, we will tell you all the secrets of those dirty doped sportsmen. There was also the hater of Tramodelito Quintana, Goggles Godou, and other riders whose capabilities as climbers are, well, somewhat limited. But after all, this is the tour that we spectators are being served. That's all that's on our menu. A tour where the rouleurs escape on hard mountain stages and the climbers do it on the flat. All with the aim of not upsetting the Mafia peloton too much. On the Tourmalet, we saw a nice duel at a distance. Not with a killer pace, but competitive all the same. On the one hand, in the breakaway, there was the gringo champion Quinn of the doped hipster team working hard as if he were Andrea Piccolo himself, so that Benny Hilly, the star of the pink show, would have a chance to win the stage. On the other side of the bunch, a huge, gigantic destroyer of a man, the Van Hooydonkian Niels Politz. He began to shred riders in the peloton, among them various Rabobank gregarios like the Belgian Bot, and he kept the gap to the breakaway group at 4 minutes. A tremendous performance that set up the job for Calippo Soler and the rest of Pogi's gregarios, all with the aim of bringing the alien closer to the stage win. Kerry Lascano put on the mask that would have been so good for his great friend and worker Ayuso in a final kilometre of insane ascent, and crossed the Tourmalet in the lead, a rouleur who had trouble climbing passes of more than 3 kilometres only 3 months ago, but now he shows a summer full of superpowers, typical of the actor that Bruce Almighty imitates so well in the movie. He won the Jacques Godet souvenir of €5,000, one of the biggest prizes that the decadent Benesto team will win in this Grand Boucle. Saunier Duval continued to work very well, even without the hard-working Ayuso in their ranks. So much so that the also hard-working Almeida wanted to take off his civil servant's overalls, and he started to pull the pack at the foot of the Plateau de Beille. While up front it was the lad himself, Benny Hilly, demonstrating how useful training in hot rooms can be. He stood out from the rest of his breakaway companions and greeted the son of Pat McQuaid and friend of Tom Tiny Tim Pidcock, insisting that they have a hilarious man ready to defend their interests in this increasingly rigged race. Saunier's work left Rabobank without any gregarios for the anchovy, except, of course, the gregario of gregarios, Matteo Jorgensen. Focusing Evenepoel, he was well accompanied by Geert and his BFF Mikel Landa. And then, as if they were playing a video game and these were words said by the protagonists of the story themselves, the alien sent the twin brother of the doped Simon Yates ahead in a move that Dracula Gianetti used to do when he had dopers like Rico and Piepoli on his staff, but he has never done since the huge amounts of Arab money trickled into his hands. It proved to be the key to the stage and made a big difference to Pogi's performance on Plateau de Beille when compared to Puy-Marie just a few days earlier. Number 11 can't help himself. He has an inner need to prove that he is better than his Danish nemesis, and so he constantly attacks his rival in this Tour de France, even though he doesn't have to. It seems he wants to grill the herring. And so far, well, he's had rather mixed, bittersweet results. But today, well, if the move went well, the key would be the advanced position of his British teammates, which allowed him to recover for just a few seconds at almost 5 kilometres from the finish line. And then, once recovered, he released his tremendous alien hand in purest Men in Black style, slapping about the face of Jonas Vingegaard, and also leaving Benny Hilly stranded like a discarded cigarette butt. And the duo continued for a few metres, where the Slovenian slowed down and was able then to maintain his pace in a nice duel with the anchovy, who showed focusing once again who has the balls by leaving him behind as soon as the road got to 12% gradient. Pogi's favourite terrain arrived, and without even breathing through his green folds of skin, at full speed and full power, he dodged a stupid man who threw a bag of Cheetos at his face, and he headed straight for the finish line, proving that the tactics of Benji Nyson's men were wrong, something that surprises us a lot with all the wisdom of this humble YouTuber. Pogi increased the advantage to almost 10 seconds per kilometre with a creepy, monstrous final rush, and he crossed the finish line making his classic gorilla flex gesture, one that provokes so much fun among all those who love cycling and are under 10 years old. We suppose that he was screaming with joy for having beaten Armstrong's legendary record, when the Texan rode this climb 2 minutes slower, albeit on a harder stage. One where the doped Texan had to recover more than 20 minutes that the Kazakh Kivilev, may he rest in peace, had taken from him in a bidon breakaway, totally doped up to the eyebrows. Something that, as you know, is impossible, literally impossible, when it comes to Pogi and Saunier Duval, and on the good ship UCI when it's captained by Selfie Lepation. All in all, the monsters of cycling now go clean and break records thanks to nutrition and bras and carbon monoxide. It all made for a fine tribute to the hard-working Ayuso, who we imagine will be crying tears of purest COVID in Andorra in honour of his leader, a leader for whom he sacrificed so much in this Tour de France 2024, and something that we sincerely believe to be the case. Because we are faithful to the gospel of Sergio Palamonte, you know, friends, what is very bad for some is for others. Well, you can finish the line. The Angevin crossed the finish line, and from Rabobank they couldn't believe how the Slovenian is already more than 2 minutes ahead in the general classification. But as I always say, never take the fish for sold. I don't want to have to remember a certain episode in a different stage race that happened in Finestre. Focusin came in at a worthy third place, something which continues to silence the hater Lance Armstrong, who today has another reason for crying after losing the record and having to put up with an alcoholic beggar on his podcast to be able to continue to maintain his life of luxury. It was a nice day of cycling, a very nice day of cycling. Don't miss tomorrow's stage on the channel, you'd better subscribe. Oh, and while you're at it, stop by the video on the screen. Guarantee you'll love it.